Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Associate Professor Dr. Hasrina Mustafa, and I'm from the School of Communication, University of Science Malaysia. I'm so delighted today that I've been invited to deliver a keynote address to International Conference on Communication, Management and Humanities on 30th of July 2020. Thank you to the conference organizer, the Academic International Dialogue, who works in collaborations with Malaysian Associations of Communication educators in organizing this conference. Okay, the title of my presentation today is on COVID-19 and online information seeking behavior among Malaysians, a Google trend analysis. So I have three important aspects that I would like to highlight. The first one is, of course, on COVID-19, because it is very relevant in the current situations that we are facing now. And the second part is on online information seeking behavior. What are the search terms that Malaysians often use whenever that they Google the informations on the internet? And I also would like to highlight on the usefulness of Google Trend for research. Okay, so not many communication research have used this particular tool, so I'm going to introduce these new tools to everyone today. Okay, specifically, this study seeks to explore information-seeking behavior among Malaysians by tracking the search term of phrases related to COVID-19 via Google Trend. So specifically, the present study aimed to explore search terms related to four aspects. The first one is related to general information on COVID-19. I would like to know what are the search terms that Malaysians often use whenever they search for information for COVID-19. Are they looking for daily statistics on COVID-19? Are they looking for symptoms? Are they looking for methods of prevention? And the second part of my study is actually try to see what are the search terms related to economic aspect. Are they searching for government financial assistance? Are they worried about unemployment? On the third part of this study aims to understand the search term related to social and leisure activity. Are they searching for how to shop on Shopee? Are they searching for some food recipe? And the last component of this research aim to understand is if there is any evidence of psychological impact. Are they searching for food assistance? Are they actually trying to find ways to reduce the stress of depression? Those are the things that will be highlighted in my study and presentation today. So let me introduce to Google Trend. Google Trend is a very simple but useful tool that can be used for research. And if you go to the URL given, there's a space there where you can actually type in the search term. And in my case, I use various keywords related to COVID-19. And the moment you press search, you can see a lot of statistics given by Google Trend. Okay, let me introduce you specifically to Google Trend. Google Trend is a free tool provided by Google that can be used to access trending searches, top search term queries, and search term patterns by state, region, or country. So basically the most interesting part, because the data that is provided by Google Trend is on daily basis. So meaning that you get daily data, and the durations of searches can be, up to, like 12 years or 10 years, so it is a very useful tool because you don't have to do survey, you don't have to do interview, but the data is within your hand. Okay, so Google Trend has been used previously. Okay, it came to me as a surprise when I do some literature review on the use of Google Trend for research. Basically, in medical research, they have used Google Trend to explore on the health surveillance on various diseases such as influenza, asthma, parasitic disease, So this is a good opportunity, and most of this research that is actually appear in the high impact factor journal. So I would strongly recommend the utilizations of Google Trends as a method of data collections. So generally, Google Trend provide an index of search volume. It does not provide an absolute value or the actual number of searches. It's actually providing a with index of search volume. But you can actually, if you, there's another tool, Google Keyword Planner, which is available in Google AdWords. I used to use Google AdWords quite a number of times. So basically that will provide you with the search volume. But however, in our case, I'm using Google Trend because it's a free tool. Okay, so it's actually providing us with an index of search volume ranging from 0 to 100, with 0 represent a very low search volume and 100 indicate maximum search activity during the given period. It's like a scale where you have 1 to 5, 1 to indicate low quality, 5 indicate highest quality. So it is something similar, but Google Trend provides with a range of scale from 0 to 100. Okay, so I'm using this guideline provided by Knight, Evans, and Marchand 2020. There are 3 step guidelines. The first one is on the parameter. The first thing that I do before I embark into this research is try to identify the important dates related to COVID-19. Like for example, the date of the first confirmed cases in Malaysia, the date of the first death, the starting and the ending date of the 5 MCO, daily updates of the confirmed cases and number of deaths due to the pandemic. Because this is important so that when we have the statistic, we have the trend, we're able to see why is that the search term seems to rise on certain date and etc. Okay, so we will be able to try to gain more information by identifying the important dates related to the pandemic. The second part of the guideline is the search strategy. Basically, I use the durations for this study is beginning on 25th January 2020 until 17th of July 2020. So why I choose 25th January? Because that is the first confirmed case of COVID-19 in Malaysia. And it goes until 70 because I have to comply to the deadline given the conference organizer. To provide the video before that, I wish that I can actually extend until the end of the current MCO. So basically, I use 4 queries category. The first one is general information on COVID-19. Second one is on economy-related aspect. Third one is on the social and leisure information. And the last one is the psychological impact of COVID-19. And the last part of the guideline is on search term analysis. What do I do with the data? So basically, Google Trend provide us with graphical presentations of the data, which is very useful. So I generated from Google Trend the graphical presentations. And I also downloaded the data in Excel format and I transferred that in SPSS. And on top of that, I also manually key in the number of confirmed cases in Malaysia COVID-19, and I upload that in SPSS as well to try to see the relationship between search volume index and daily trends in COVID-19 statistic for confirmed cases. Okay, so a bit of introduction to what is the information seeking behavior. This is an area of study that is normally done in the field of communications and also in library science basically. So information seeking behavior is purposeful act of seeking information which derive from a need to satisfy some goals. So in other words, information seeking behavior includes deliberate activity of finding, retrieving, selecting, even ignoring and using the information generated. So basically, the process of information seeking, start with a simple act of starting or finding some information, and that is actually to achieve a certain goals. That is, the goal is actually to satisfy the information needs. In order for us to achieve those needs, we would be conducting several deliberate activity of searching, finding, retrieving, ignoring this information. Okay, there are various models of information-seeking behaviors, but something that attract my attention is given by Wilson or provided by Wilson, 1989. Basically, the model highlight that the ultimate aim of information-seeking behavior is to reduce or to solve a problem and to reduce uncertainty that we are having due to this problem. So we'll be, having this, four-step process of problem identification, problem definitions, problem resolutions, and solution statement. So those are the process involved when we are seeking more information on something, and we have the ultimate aim of reducing the uncertainty that we have due to lack of information. Like for example, you're not sure, where to get, the cheapest test for COVID-19. So you would, and that is your objective, to know what is the cheapest test for COVID-19. So you will be Googling and find those information just to reduce your uncertainty. When you're Googling those information, you will be retrieving, you will be ignoring, you will be selecting those information, and at the end of the day, you will be able to find solution that is where is the best, the cheapest test for COVID-19. Okay, now I come to the result of the study. Okay, so the result of the study, the first one, what are the popular search terms related to COVID-19 used by Malaysians? So basically, I use these two search terms, that is COVID and coronavirus. So basically, Malaysians search for coronavirus were actually emerged in January and February 2020 before changing it, to COVID-19 after the announcement by the World Health Organization on 12 February 2020 on the official name of the virus, that is COVID-19. So basically, look at the trend, you can see that the one that is in red is referring to coronavirus. It emerged highly in the beginning of the pandemic in Malaysia on the 25th of January, when the first confirmed case of COVID-19 was actually reported and announced by the government. And however, as we move to the, by 12th of February, the World Health Organizations have officially declared that the name of the virus is COVID-19, and therefore we can see there's a slight increase in terms of the search term related to COVID, and the search term recorded the highest amount of increase, especially when the first MCO was announced. So you can see the one that is in blue line, and the search term for COVID tend to flatten. The trend for COVID-19 search will tend to flatten, to the end of the MCO. So this is actually search term related to COVID-19 by state. Basically, Selangor recorded the highest amount of searches, and this is followed by Sabah, Labuan, Negeri Sembilan, Putrajaya. Selangor, of course, recorded the highest among the highest number of COVID cases. So no wonder that the statistic was actually showing some consistent trend as well. Okay, and in terms of, let me push it here. Okay, so for in terms of top searches queries, basically we see that Malaysians were actually looking for more information. Basically, they are interested with the COVID cases. We are interested with statistics. We are interested with the COVID-19 statistic at the global level, the COVID world, and try to compare that with our own local statistics. Okay, now we move to methods of prevention of COVID-19, and of course something related to that. Of course, certain keywords like hand sanitizer, mask, thermometer emerge. Okay, and if you look at the search activity for masks remain high throughout the pandemic period as compared to hand sanitizer and thermometer. So the one that is red is basically referring to masks. We can see there's two peaks. Okay, the first one when MCO was when the first confirmed case were actually highlighted, and the second one was actually during the after the announcement of the first MCO. The same trend were observed for hand sanitizer. The first one were peaking, when the first case was announced, that is actually in blue line, and the second one for hand sanitizer, who actually the search term were picking during the first MCO. Okay, and this is top search keyword related to hand sanitizer, mask, and thermometer. Basically, interestingly, certain brand emerged. Dettol, Antibac, Watson, Guardian recorded among the highest search. Interestingly, due to low supply of hand sanitizer, many searches were actually in relations to ways to make own sanitizer. I think this is pretty important, especially for brand owner. If you have your brand emerge in the search result, therefore there is indication on the popularity of the brand name. And also interesting we were also keen to know on how to make own sanitizer. If you can remember during MCO, we were searching somewhere to find own sanitizer, and some of us were actually looking, the potentials of making their own hand sanitizer. Interestingly, high search query was also recorded on search term on how to wear mask. So we are not sure, how to, which side should go out, which side should go in, things like that. Whether the blue one or the white one should be in and out. So for thermometer, some brand emerge. Okay, for example, Omron. Okay, those are the brand that emerge in relations to thermometer. Okay, now this is related to the e-marketplace. During MCO, we were, confined ourselves in our own house. So therefore, we would be interested in, purchasing things outside. And most often, we use, Shopee, Lazada, GrabFood, and Foodpanda to serve our needs. So basically, result derived from Google Trend were actually showing that there's the search term for Shopee and Lazada recorded among the highest search query compared to GrabFood and Foodpanda. And also, it's actually indicated on popularity of Shopee. Okay, so with more time at home, many Malaysians revisit their long-lost hobbies such as gardening, reading, and even cooking. So we can see from here that there's a significant increase in search term related to cake recipe, roti canai, bread, and dalgona coffee. And these are actually can be observed during the period. So you can see that the blue line, right, where you have dalgona coffee were actually being searched by Malaysians, and you can see a significant increase in terms of the search term. And the next one is the bread recipe, okay? And at the same time, we have high searches for roti canai, okay, in the second MCO as well. And however, cake recipe came a bit later, okay? So, and it remained consistent, cake recipe. So many Malaysians were actually interested to know how to make, they're probably making their own cake. And these are specific search terms related to dalgona coffee, bread, and cake recipe. So like for dalgona coffee, how to make dalgona coffee, what is dalgona coffee, those are the keywords that emerge. For bread, okay, we were actually looking for bread recipe, looking for bread maker, bread pudding, gardenia. There was one time we were craving for gardenia bread. Okay, so that is actually reflective, it is actually reflected in the Google Trend analysis. For cake recipe, cheesecake, chocolate cake, those are the key terms that emerge from the analysis. Okay, so in terms of financials, in terms of economic related aspect in regards to COVID-19, we can see that to mitigate the financial impact of COVID-19, the government had introduced Bantuan Prihatin. So Bantuan Prihatin is a special initiative. We include the moratorium of the loan repayment for up to 6 months and employment retention program by Perkeso. So you can see the one that is in the green color is actually referring to Bantuan Prihatin. You can see a significant increase in terms of the number of searches for Bantuan Prihatin. The same goes for moratorium and also Perkeso. However, Prihatin, the search term, recorded the highest number of searches. So these are specific search terms related to Bantuan Prihatin, Penjar, and moratorium and Perkeso. So you can see the list of specific keyword that is used by Malaysians to find more information, and at the end of the day hope to be able to achieve their or to satisfy the information needs. Okay, so Penjana Kerjaya, Penjana Perkeso, Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, Prihatin, Perkeso Prihatin, brand moratorium public bank, certain brand emerged like the public bank, RHBM bank, which is actually Maybank, of course, okay, reflecting the popularity of the public bank institution and also the product itself. And of course, I'm also interested if there is any evidence related to the search key term that can actually relate to evidence of psychological stress. So I have my keyword. I have several keywords actually. I use like bully. I use like abuse. But however, those keywords does not really appear prominently in the graph. So I have removed that. So something that emerged is depression and stress, but however we can't see the differences between before, or the early part of the MCO or the early part of pandemic with the current part of the pandemic. So we can't safely say that it is actually during the pandemic that we are having more depression or more stress. We can't see much from the trend. However, what we can see from the trend is in terms of the food assistant. Okay, food assistant, which is in red color, and we can see that there's a slight peak, but that peak appear to be prominent in the trend. Okay, so people were searching for if there is any food assistance provided by the government or provided by the NGOs. So that is actually appear consistently, especially during the first and the second part of the MCO. However, we can't see much evidence in terms of depression and stress. Okay, so the final part is I would like to see if there is a consistent trend between search volume and daily cases of COVID-19. So what I do is that I download the search volume, okay, for all related keyword in COVID-19. I download that and have it in Excel, and at the same time I have tried to extract daily cases of COVID-19, which is available in the websites of Malaysian Ministry of Health. So I have key in that manually, and I transfer that in SPSS and run some cross tabulations analysis. So you can see from this statistic or this particular graph, we can see there seems to be a consistent trend between the search volume and daily cases of COVID-19. What can we say here is that as the number of cases increase, that leads to an increase into the search volume, the number of searches done by Malaysians. If there is a decrease in daily cases of COVID-19, that also leads to the decrease in the search activities conducted by Malaysians. So these are the trends you can see. There seems to be some pattern, except for the beginning where you have a high search volume, okay, especially for COVID-19 and also for coronavirus in the beginning, despite of having low number of confirmed cases of COVID-19. But overall, you can see some consistent trend. So the next thing that I do is that I run some Spearman pairwise correlations between search volume and daily cases of COVID-19, and results show significant and positive relationship between search volumes and daily cases of COVID-19. So basically you can see there's a positive relationship, meaning that as the daily cases increase, that leads to the higher amount of search volume among Malaysians, which is consistent throughout the period. So a conclusion to this particular research or this particular address is that our results suggest the impact of several key events related to COVID-19 on the amount of search volume on Google. The announcement of the first MCO has the biggest effect on searches for the information on the COVID-19. So basically, several key events, whenever that we have several key events, like the announcement of the first MCO, the announcement of the first confirmed cases of COVID-19, that leads to increase in terms of the amount of searches on Google. Okay, so we also find that there's high searches on various financial assistance provided by the government, especially on Bantuan Prihatin. There's also high searches on several e-commerce, e-commerce or e-marketplace, especially Shopee, which reflect on the popularity of the e-commerce marketplace. Next one is high searches on masks, especially on how to wear masks. Okay, we were not sure, so we search for that. High searches for hand sanitizer, especially on how to make own sanitizer. High searches on food recipes such as dalgona, coffee, bread, and cake recipe. However, we find no evidence, okay, on depression, suicide, stress, bully, harassment, okay, or stress during MCO. So those are the findings that derive from the present study. Okay, the implications of this is the important to try to make sure that whatever the announcement that the government have to make in regards to COVID-19 must be is also related to the search volume. So government officials' announcement has stronger effect on public attention to the crisis, which are evident based on high search volume upon the announcement. So the moment government announced on the first MCO, that leads to more searches. Okay, so government officials and public policy should take advantage of a brief period of active information seeking following focal event. In our case, that will be in the first cases of confirmed cases of COVID-19 and the first MCO announcement. And this is important to provide clear advice regarding the action that people need to undertake to avoid the risk of COVID-19. So those are the implications that we have towards the that can be highlighted from the study. And I would like to highlight on the usefulness of Google Trend, which is very useful for both researchers and marketers in gaining real-time data on various health related information, any information related to brand, on any information related to any issues. Okay, and we can use those information because that data is given based on daily basis, and it can be, and durations for your analysis can ranges like, for more than 10 years. Never tried that, but you can try. I've tried for 2 or 3 years, but you can try for the durations longer. I think that's all from me. So thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for listening to my presentation today. I'm so delighted to share with you what I know based on the study that I have conducted. And thank you to the conference organizer for inviting me to share with the audience on something related to the issues on COVID-19 and information seeking behavior. Thank you so much.